I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're talking with a terrific author. His name is Joseph Espinda Jr., and he is a man transformed. Once broken by addiction, depression, and the weight of an alternate lifestyle, he now walks in freedom through the redeeming love of Jesus Christ. The name of his book, Songs of Freedom, A Journey of Faith, Hope, and Healing. It is a heartfelt collection of reflections and poems that chart his spiritual awakening and healing. Through deeply personal stories and lyrical psalms, he offers a message of encouragement to help others navigate similar struggles, showing that hope, identity, and joy are all possible through faith. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Joseph, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
It's great to have you on the show. You're looking well, you're looking healthy. You are a man transformed, no doubt. You described your life as once being broken by addiction and depression. What was the turning point where you truly began to heal?
Well, it came to the point where I was so low in my life and I had no other options. The only thing that I saw was suicide as the only way out.
Amazing, amazing.
You know, the lies that are built up upon your life and the things that you accept kind of brings you down and drags you into the mud and into the muck and the mire where you don't see any worth in yourself.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until that.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about, no doubt. It was a challenging time in your life. Like I said, the great news is that you are healed now, and that is because of the love of Jesus Christ and your great faith. Um, Tell us about writing psalms and poetry and how it became part of your spiritual transformation.
Well, writing the poems was just my way of healing, of expressing my deep feelings about what was going on in my life. I didn't write them specifically for a book. I was actually encouraged to write the book after some of the poems were shared because I was told that this could help a lot of people who
Mm.
came from the same pathway that I came from. So I put them in a collection. I wrapped narratives around them, and then I shared it out you
Mm.
know, with the publisher. And
Mm.
it was the intent was to get the message out that there is a way out of all
Yeah.
the lies and all the deceit and the feeling that you have no worth.
Yeah. There is a way out. That is a very great message of hope, no doubt. In your book, you talk about identity. How has your understanding of who you are changed since finding faith?
I had struggled with my identity from a young age because of physical and sexual abuse.
Mhm.
And so I had bought into the lie that I was a homosexual.
Mhm.
So although I tried to fight against it, it just wasn't working. It's because I was doing it on my own. And
Mhm.
then I bought into the lie of pray it away, and that doesn't work by itself. There's got to be faith behind it. Just say, take it away. It doesn't work.
Mhm.
Um, Coming into the reality of who I am in Christ as a child of God, that means that I can strip away all those lies and those false identities. And
Mhm.
now I see myself as a child of God. So when someone asks me point blank, are you gay? I said, I am not gay. I am not bi. I'm not straight. I am a child of God. That is my identity.
Exactly, exactly. And that's an identity each one of us can embrace, that we
Yes,
are
yes.
children of God, no doubt. How do you hope this book reaches those who may be struggling with addiction, abuse, or feelings of hopelessness similar to the ones that you experienced in your life?
Yeah. So, poetry and songs have a way of reaching into people that perhaps there's feelings that they haven't had before or that they've forgotten about. And it stirs up more inside of them just by reading the words, but then they can identify with it and saying, yeah, that's me, or yeah, that's like me. And he found a way. I can find a way.
Yeah.
So no matter how far you've gone, there's always a way.
Yeah.
It's never too late.
Exactly. That shared experience is very, very empowering. And that's what I love about reading. I mean, even novels, sometimes you find a character who's going through something similar to you, and you're like, that's me. And that's a way out. And that's what I need to do. I need to embrace faith, as you have, as you've written in this book. Talk to a little bit about the role of community and support and what it played in your healing process.
So I had been invited to attend a particular church by a friend of mine that I've known for many years, and I would always turn her down. And she finally said to me, "Well, you should come this week because it's going to be a great message." And still in my arrogance, I said, "Well, if it's great this week, it'll be great next week, right?" So
Yeah.
I said, "I'll go next week." I didn't have any intention of going actually,
Right.
but what I found out is later that she went and spoke with someone there, and they prayed for me all week long that I would
Mm.
show up. And I have a way of, creating plausible excuses of not to do things. But I couldn't think of a single thing that day.
Right.
I was in front of her house in my car trying to think of an excuse, and I couldn't think of the excuse. But
Right.
so I went, and the person that she was praying with, I met him, and he just started preaching to me without, just as an introduction, and
Mhm.
it cracked me. It cracked me inside my heart. And
Yeah.
then the message of the pastor that day, it just kind of opened the doors, and I was fully embraced by the community of the church, fully embraced, and I really felt that I was at home.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, you're lucky you didn't come up with an excuse that day because it did help in your transformation. Um, do you regularly attend this church now or another church? Tell us a little bit about your spiritual journey.
I attend that church regularly, and gotten to the point where I really wanted to be more engaged. So now I'm an usher at the church, and
Mm.
I'm learning leadership classes and things like that to, to prepare me for a ministry of sorts, to
Yeah.
reach out to the community. And I have gone out in the community, to the homeless community, and reached out to people there.
Yeah.
Some of them remember my name and my face when I see them on the streets and stuff like that.
That's
I did
wonderful.
want to say something about that day. I did go to church. That was the same day I had decided that I was going to commit suicide.
Huh.
So
Well, thank
going that
goodness
day
you
saved my
chose.
life.
Yeah.
Saved my
Yeah.
life.
Thank goodness you chose faith, you chose religion, you chose church over ending your life. So that's a miracle in and of itself. The name of the book is Psalms of Freedom. Why did you name it that?
Well, I didn't name it Psalms, to say that it's any kind of religion connected type of thing. But as I read the book of Psalms, there were all songs that was written by King David.
Mhm.
So instead of saying songs of freedom to, maybe get the wrong idea that it's a songbook,
Yeah.
I chose Psalms. So, and the Greek translation for that is sung with a harp, and that harp is in my heart. So I
Right.
sing with my heart of the things that I've gone through to share with others.
What was it like writing this book? Is it something you compiled over time, or you just sat down and wrote it one time? Tell us about the writing journey.
Yeah, it took about 4 months to write it. And the first iteration was a true tell-all, names, dates, places. And as I got to chapter 3, I realized that I was reliving the past, which
Mm.
was not anything good. So I decided to rewrite it starting from chapter 1, giving enough information, but it still didn't have the right spirit. It was like kind of soft porn, and I didn't want that message to go out there. So I rewrote it. Not as a tell all, but a tell enough so people can understand where I came from, what I was talking about, without giving all the details to create the wrong kind of spirit that I wanted to have out of the book.
Yeah. Now that you've written this, do you have the writing bug? You thinking about writing anything else?
I am actually, I have two more that I'm thinking about. The
Wow.
next one is called Conversations at the Cross, where I will speak to other people about their journeys to Christ, and then, create a transcript of those individual conversations, and then also add in additional poems. So there are many poems or Psalms in the current book, but I've written 23 since the book was released. So
Wonderful.
there are a lot more out there.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we're looking forward to your forthcoming books. I'm sure they'll be just as wonderful and inspired as this one. The name of the book, folks, is Psalms of Freedom, A Journey of Faith, Hope, and Healing. It is a heartfelt collection of reflections and poems that chart the author's spiritual awakening and healing. Through deeply personal stories and lyrical psalms, he offers a message of encouragement to others navigating similar struggles, showing that hope, identity, and joy are all possible through faith. Joseph, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I appreciate your time and your insight. For the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.